record on this computer. Yes, welcome. And I know for some of us, it's way past your bedtime. And I'll try to make this as exciting, as interesting as possible. But if you look at what's happening in our world today, all over the world, emotions are running wild. And you mediators especially will know that when people lose control of their emotions, they do stupid things, don't they? And they say stupid things, and they have so much regret. And sometimes I can't believe I did that, or I can't believe I said that. And the challenge for us is that people are not trained to manage their emotions. We, all of us, we human beings, are naturally reactive. Somebody says something to us, we want to say back something. Somebody give us a bad drive on the road, we're going to pop the horn, we're going to want to show them the finger, you know, and hear about road rage and all of that. So, but this program that I'm going to share with you tonight, and I'm going to introduce you tonight and give you an overview of what it is really to help us and other people to learn first to be aware of their emotions, to manage their emotions, to be aware of other people's emotions, and to have better relationships. So let me go and share my screen with you. And please stop me at any time, ask any questions. This is not a lecture, okay? Make comments, share stories at any time you feel so inclined. All right. Okay, so social emotional intelligence webinar, and notice it's an introduction. The Social and Emotional Intelligence Institute is world renowned. It's recognized by the International Coach Federation. Personally, I got certified in this program back in 2013. And most of all of us here being trainers, you know, we all have our favorite tools. I'm certified in the DISC program. I'm certified in the Bookman method. I'm certified in at least 5 of Covey's international workshops. I'm also a certified international inside out coach, but this is my go-to tool. This is my go-to tool. But the first, let's share what we're going to talk about tonight. We've already done introduction. Thank you, Berchel. Great job on that. We're going to talk about what is the social and emotional intelligence. We're going to discuss IQ, intelligence quotient versus emotional quotient, which is the same as emotional intelligence. Then we're going to, the profile is made up of 4 quadrants. So I'm going to review the 4 quadrants with you. And then we got 26 distinct competencies that I'm going to review with you and introduce you to. We're going to share a business case. Why is this so important? A health and wellness case, and then we'll take some questions and feedback. But again, feel free to stop me at any time and ask any questions, okay? All right, the first thing I want you to do, or I'd like you to do, because learning has to be participative for you to learn anything. Take a blank piece of paper, or those of you who are really, you know, have notes on your iPhone or whatever, and write at the top, great ideas. Tonight, you're going to hear a couple great ideas that you're going to say, wow, that's a great idea. It may not come from me, it may come from one of your colleagues. You write it down. And I hope that by the end of this session, you will have at least 5 or 6 great ideas to share, okay? First, your mind is like a parachute. It's not much good unless it's open. Too many people in our world today are so set in their ways. You know, so traditional in their thinking, and we're living in a changing world. We need to be more open-minded in order to learn and grow. And this popular statement, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you always got. I mean, it's insanity to do the same thing over and over and expect different results. Learning what we get out of any activity is equal to what we put into it. You know, Burchell did a really fantastic job of introducing me, but I am as good as the people who are in the room and as good as how much they share with what we do. Whatever you get out of this is what you're going to put into it. Make sense? So, emotional intelligence. Prior to 1995, emotional intelligence was kind of limited to the academia, psychologists, psychiatrists, you know. But in 1995, Daniel Goleman wrote this book, Emotional Intelligence, Why It Can Matter More Than IQ. And he brought emotional intelligence to the general public. And you know, when there is a topic for dummies, you know it's hit the mainstream. And then there was a Time magazine written back in 1995, Time magazine article on emotional intelligence, which actually got more exposure than the book. I do have a copy of that article. If you would like a copy, send me an email and I will send it to you. I just say send the Time magazine article on EQ. So, you know what, I'd like to have some engagement with this. So which is more important, you think? EQ or IQ? Anybody? Which is more important, EQ or IQ? Sharika, please unmute yourselves. If you mute.
No, I was saying both, but do I have to choose one?
No. You. I
think both are important.
I like your answer. You're right. Both are important. Without, you know, too much EQ, and we will see a little bit here what happens. People who have, you know, they're too academic, too much IQ. Look at what happens when you add emotional intelligence and intelligence quotient. You get success. What do you think happens when we have? Is somebody saying something? What do you think happens when you have only IQ and no EQ? What do you think happens? Any thoughts? Anybody? What are the results when people only use their intelligence with no emotion? Anybody? What happens?
You get stereotype in black and white?
Yeah. Because, you know, the gurus of emotional intelligence will tell you, and 80% of how we behave is impacted by how we feel, by our emotions. So especially leaders who are not emotionally inclined, they're going to lose their people. And you will see some examples of what happens when we have too much IQ. Look at what happens. You know, we have out of control emotions make smart people stupid. Would you agree with that? Give me a thumbs up if you agree with that. Out of control emotions make smart people stupid. And then, look, you know, the bully and the tyrant is no longer limited to the playground. They're in our offices now and in our organizations. And then you have the micromanager. How many of you love to work with a micromanager? No emotions. Then you have the angry and the hostile. You know people, and I'm sure as I'm showing you these people, you can think of people who you know or you have met. They always seem to be angry and hostile. And then you have the emotionally immature. The emotionally immature. Have you met any of these people? If you have, give me a thumbs up. If you know some or met some of these type of people, give me a thumbs up. Yeah, we all have met some of these people. And then what happens? How does this impact on our employees? Well, guess what? The impact is, first, they're stressed out. You know, there have been cases where individuals have sued their company for too much work stress. And you know, the medical field have proven that stress is accountable for at least six of the most chronic diseases in the world today, stress. Then you have the people who just check out. They don't care anymore. They're just checking in and checking out and picking up a paycheck. And you have the people who've had enough. How many of you have left a job or a role when you say, I can't take this anymore? This is enough. Or even a relationship. This is enough. And you know, people do not leave organizations. They leave managers. People do not leave organizations, they leave managers. Then the bottom line, you know, the impact on the bottom line, it's amazing what happens on the bottom line because the productivity goes down, cost goes up. You know, when you have to retrain an employee, hire a new employee, replace an employee, that costs a lot of money. And think about the impact on the clients. It's going to be negative. So it's a lot of money losing here because of mismanaged emotions or no emotions. Would you agree with that? Any comments? Yeah, Sharika.
No, I was just saying I agree.
Thank you. Appreciate that. I think somebody just joined us. I didn't get the name, but I guess we will in a minute. So any thoughts, any questions about what we've shared so far?
I think that is why situational management is the best way to go, where you can add both the IQ and the emotions.
Right, and remember we said when you combine IQ with EQ, you have success. One without the other is chaos and anger. And who likes that? And stress. So in a survey of 1,000 American workers, and you know, I think this applied to all workers, but they surveyed the American workers. They said 65% would choose a new boss over a pay rise. You cannot buy peace and happiness. You can't pay for that. That's a high number, 65%. Then it says 60% said they would do a better job if they had a better relationship with their boss. How many of you work with a boss who said, oh, my door is always open for you. And then when you want to have a meeting with them, their calendar is always filled up and you can't have a meeting with them. I remember once when I was still in the work, I was working at Cox, I had an idea I wanted to share with the executive vice president of sales. I said, hey, I'd like to meet with you. It was in January, people. You know what this man told me? The next opening I have on my calendar is in September. Now think about the impact. Here you have an employee with an idea that they want to share with you, and you're telling them in January that you can't meet with them until that idea is dead. You're never going to, I don't want to meet with you anymore. You know, it's crazy what's going on. 47% say their boss does not stay calm and in control. You know, there are a lot of people who still believe in the old Taylor management method where I demand what you want. I mean, God forgive, but we've seen it happening right now in America. Demanding what you want, and then you get chaos. 31% feel uninspired and appreciated by their boss. And one of the components of this profile is inspirational leadership. And we'll talk more about that in a minute. 20% say their boss has little or no integrity, which is a key social and emotional intelligence competency. 73% of those in their 20s and 30s said their health is at stake due to a bully boss. And then the current situation is costing, look at that number, $360 billion a year in lost productivity. $360 billion, that's a lot of money. No wonder, you know, most of the countries, they're in the red and they can't balance their budget. Any questions, any input, any thoughts?
I just find this so interesting listening.
Yeah. You see, you have to present a case, the facts first. And that's what I'm trying to present to you tonight. First, next, in a USA Today snapshots back in 2009, it's a little old, but it's still relevant. You know, what makes good...
Before you go?
Yes.
I was just thinking, can you imagine if 1/10 of what is lost because of that emotional dissonance, we were able to correct it through training?
Well, that's what we're doing, and that's why we're meeting tonight, and we know we're making progress, but slow but sure. Remember, it was not until after.
So may I just introduce?
Yeah.
May I just introduce the 3 persons who joined?
Sure.
They would have missed my introducing you, and that will be
That's
done
all
later
right.
on,
That's
that
okay.
But Claudette is a member of the JCs. She was a member of JCs at Jamaica, and so she should be familiar with you.
Who? I didn't get the name. I didn't get the name, Buchel.
Claudette Harrison.
Hold on. I think let's do this. Okay, Claudette. Yeah. Hey, Claudette.
Yes.
Hi, Senator Lincoln. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Welcome.
I'm very well, thanks. Thank you.
So she would have known much about you. Aretha Morris had joined us at the last one for a part of the presentation.
Okay.
And so she's back. She's a teacher. She teaches physical education, among other things. And so she's involved with, she teaches in the high schools.
Okay.
And so she's involved with teenagers. And so that should be of value to her. And Roddy Barif is also a member of JC's, and he would know you well.
Hey, Roddy, welcome.
He's a mediator and he's a trainer as well.
Awesome. We're
And
in
so
good
briefly,
company.
those are
here.
the persons in the room.
Yeah, we're in good company. Good.
Yes.
So, going back to the
Good evening. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Good to have you with us. What makes good employees quit? Well, the top reasons: unhappiness with management, 35%. That's 3.5 out of 10 people. Then you have limited opportunities for advancement, 33%. They feel stuck in one. Lack of recognition. You know, I learned recognition should be served like champagne while it's still bubbling. If you want people to do well and to be consistent in their performance, recognize them in the moment. And don't just say, good job. but be specific. I like how you handle that situation. I like how you calm down that employee or that irate customer. Lack of recognition, 13%. Inadequate salary and benefits, 13%. Being bored, 1%. Aren't you happy that it's only 1% for being bored? And this is a USA Today snapshot. Why good employees quit, and the source is Robert Half International, which is a well-known executive recruitment and training organization here. Any questions? Any input? Any thoughts? So people, we have a problem. We have a problem, and it's a big problem. Fortunately, we have a solution, or at least a help, you know, and it's social and emotional intelligence. It starts with an assessment to create awareness, then training programs, introducing the concept into the culture, and then individual development programs, coaching. And I can tell you, this has become really popular. I'm getting so much requests to have this done in companies. Right now, I'm doing a team from Austin, Texas. It's an automotive dealership, 10 of their managers. I'm doing a social emotional intelligence profile for them. And I got other people just waiting in the wings because my style is I don't like to rush this thing and do have back-to-back, but to give the people 100% of the time. So this is like an overview of social emotion. Now, when people think about emotions, it's not just happy feeling. It has to do with personal power. And you will learn later, in a minute, personal power has nothing to do with physical strength, but confidence, self-confidence, that strength to speak your mind, to stand up for what you believe, and then integrity, and then building bonds and building trust. I don't know if you've ever looked at a car race. When that driver comes into the pit, does he get out of the car? Does he look to see if everybody is doing their job? No, he trusts everybody. He does not even get out of the car. That's the level of trust. And in any relationship, if there's no trust, you don't have a relationship, right? So the business of developing leaders. Sharika, would you read that for me, please? Sharika?
Hi, sorry, I didn't realize I was still on mute. Emotional intelligence is much more powerful than IQ in determining who emerges as a leader. IQ is a threshold competence. You need it, but it doesn't make you a star. Emotional intelligence can.
So is there anybody in this room who do not want to be a star? Who do not want to shine bright wherever you go? Emotional intelligence is the answer. And this guy, Warren Bennis, is a guru of leadership, and his book on becoming a leader. You can check it out if you so wish. So what is this emotional intelligence all about? Well, here is a definition. And Veronica, would you read that for me, please? Veronica?
Yes, sorry, just getting off mute.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. Social and emotional intelligence is the ability to be aware of our own emotions and those of others in the moment, and to use that information to manage ourselves and manage our relationships.
Yeah, and I intentionally put in the moment in all uppercase and underline it, because that's the key right there, in the moment. But we can only respond in the moment if we are aware and we have trained ourselves to respond in the moment. And Dr. Laura A. Beston is the leader in developing this program, and I'm really fortunate that she's the one who certified me and coached me to present back in 2013. So people do not see your heart and what you're thinking. They don't know what you're thinking. They see our behavior and they judge us based on our behavior. So it's about behavior. And you know, the thing about it is behavior can be changed. There's something that you don't change, like your genetics. You know, you can't change your genetics. You know, how many of you, people tell you, oh, you look just like your mom, or you look just like your dad, you walk like your father, you talk like your father or your mother. That's genetic. Then personality. You know, the psychologists will tell you that your personality is largely developed from age 0 to approximately 7 years old, when we learn our behavior, our values, our morals. And genetics and personality will impact our behavior, plus the environment where we grew up. Because, I mean, think about it. Somebody from Kingston, Jamaica, has a different way of behaving than somebody from Dionville or in the country. You know, I mean, those of us from the Caribbean are acquainted with your country bookie. You speak different, you act different. You know, I remember when I first came to this country back in 1985, it was like a culture shock for me, because I'm coming from an island, Trinidad and Tobago, everybody know everybody, everybody say hi, you know, and then I'm in this office in an elevator, and there are like 5 other people standing there, and everybody looking at the numbers. I had to make a decision. Either I accept that and join it, or I be me. I chose to be me. I started saying good morning. I started saying hello. And the first couple of times they look at me and what is he drinking, or what was he smoking? You know, they were like in shock. But persistency, eventually they start responding. So environment will impact our behavior. Any questions, any thoughts?
A question here.
Yes.
It's about behavior. Thoughts. When I looked at the definition earlier, I thought that it is not, well, the question is how easy it is for one to be aware of one's emotion, because based on some of the behaviors that I've seen, isn't it difficult for some people, should I say the average person, to be aware of his or her emotion?
Well, is this Garfield or Rudy? Who is asking the question? I didn't get the name.
Sorry.
Rudy. You know, and that's
Rudy.
Hi, Rudy. That's Rudy. That's a great question. Without training, people just react. There's no awareness without the training, without this tool. They're not aware, they just react. With the training and the coaching, now they learn to hit the pause button. And instead of reacting, to choose the best response. Does that answer your question, Roddy? Ready?
Yes, I will work with that for the time being. I will work with that for the time being, yes. I'm thinking
Okay.
about the response.
Okay. So, yes, Sandra. So that's a little bit about behavior and our personality and how we become who we are. So the question, who are you? Who are you? How many of you have been told that you are an introvert? Or how many of you think you're an introvert? All right, Shakira, I don't believe you, but if you say so. Introvert, you know, quiet, reserved kind of person, don't ever speak up kind of deal. And then there is the extrovert. How many of you have been told, oh, you're an extrovert? Who are you? You yourself think I'm an extrovert. Anybody?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Yeah, I've been told that for myself, but I learned a new term. Anybody play sports? Cricket? Or tennis?
Yeah, you declare that back in the
Some of us only have a memory of playing it, but yes.
But still, you know, remember when you hit, no matter what,
boss, only a memory.
no matter what sport you play, if you hit that ball in the sweet spot, it goes so far you don't even feel it. But there's a sweet spot. There is a sweet spot, and it's ambivert. People who are ambiverts, and if you would like I have an article about ambivert. If you like a copy, just send me an email. I'll send it to you. So that's the second document I'm promising you. Anybody remember what the first one was?
I wasn't around.
The Time Magazine article on EQ. Okay, take notes. And now the ambivert. An ambivert is like that sweet spot between an introvert and an extrovert. An ambivert has learned when I need to be quiet, I need to be introvert, or this situation requires that I be an extrovert. So they can adjust. Remember we said earlier, behavior can be changed. You can change your behavior. So that, in a nutshell.
That sounds like the situational management that I spoke of earlier.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yep. So a little bit of history for the history buffs in the room. The concept of intelligence has evolved over the past 100 years. IQ was the focus in the 1900s. Go to school, get an education, and then we talk about multiple intelligence, and I'll tell you a little more. It was not until 1990 that emotional intelligence was, people start talking about and becoming more aware of it. And then in 2006, social intelligence was added to the emotional intelligence profile. And I'm sure many of you have heard of Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligences. Anybody? I know it's a popular topic, especially in the Caribbean. Yes. So Howard Gardner, and
yes, it is.
We don't have the time to go into every one of these tonight, but I do have an article with the definitions of each one of these multiple intelligences. And this is more skill, knowledge-based intelligence, not emotional. Just send me an email, I'll send it to you. Or I think S+El has it, already sent it to S+El, so if it's easier for you, go ahead and send it to S+El.
I think you just need to send all of those documents to S+El and he'll distribute.
Okay. All right. You're getting work, S+El, you're getting work to do. So let's get it. Let's get into
more work.
Let's get into this report, okay? The profile. So it's a 4-quadrant model. Notice on the top left, yeah, ready? I see a raised hand. Ready?
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
No, I see a raised.
I am thinking.
Uh-huh.
Yes, man. I'm thinking, Lincoln, that this whole matter of social and emotional intelligence, is it only for leaders / managers?
No, sir. They even
I
have
asked that question.
Uh-huh. I've done this for couples.
I asked that question because because when you look at and I keep saying the average person, I'm very careful how I do that. But people just don't act or behave in a manner that shows that there is especially those who have not been exposed to
There you
certain
go.
things. I'm saying,
Yep.
how do we get this to them, the people who are real? For example, I don't know if I can say those who are at the Capitol Hill right now.
Well, the first thing I would recommend,
you know,
Roddy, is start with yourself.
And training.
Start with
Yes.
you. Have your profile done, which I can do for you. And as I told Burchell, I'll do it at a very deep discounted price because I have an affinity for my people in the Caribbean. You have to keep that price very professional, secret, because the average going rate of this program is $250. I will do it for you people for 150, and it's US dollars. What you get is you get this 26-page component, 40-page report, and you get an hour and a half one-on-one coaching debrief with me. Plus you get a self-development plan, and you get follow-up calls whenever you want to talk to me. So that's just if you're interested. So self-awareness leads to self-management, what Roddy was just talking about. People who are self-aware, what are their triggers? What make them happy? What make them sad? What make them angry? What causes them anxiety? Are better equipped to manage their behavior. And remember, we were talking about earlier that that's what people see is your behavior. And you are like on a stage. How many of you remember the Calypsonian Valentino? And he sang this song, life is a stage and everybody got a role to portray. How well are you portraying your role? And then other or social awareness, being aware of the people around you. And you have friends who you could be talking to them on the phone and by your tone of voice, they will say, are you okay? And yeah, I'm okay. No, tell me the truth. Are you okay? And then you will say, how did you know? Because you recognize and you're aware. And then relationship management. Now the 3 previous quadrants all add up to impact relationships. And isn't that what life is all about? Relationships? We have so many different relationships. Those of us who are married, we have that most intimate, lifelong relationship. Those of us who have kids, it's a relationship with our kids. Those of us, we go to the supermarket, we have a relationship with the people in the supermarket. We neighbors, brothers, sisters, there's so many relationships that make up our life. People who have, but great relationships do not just happen. It takes management, it takes effort, it takes intention. And you will see 10 components on how to create and manage great relationships. So what does this all mean? Self-awareness. Self-awareness has to do with emotional self-awareness, meaning knowing, being aware of your triggers. And then accurate self-assessment, meaning admitting the truth, not faking it, but the truth. And then personal power, as I shared earlier, personal power has to do with self-confidence, speaking your truth, and standing up for what you believe. So those are the 3 components under self-awareness. And then we go to self-management. How many of you have heard about the Marshmallow Project? Quickly, Marshmallow Project has to do with behavior. Some psychologists took a bunch of little 3-4-year-old kids, put them in a room, give each one of them a plate with a marshmallow in front of them, and told them, okay, we're gonna leave the room and we'll come back in 15 minutes. Now, those of you who wait and do not eat the marshmallow, you will get another one. So you will end up with 2. Those of you who eat your marshmallow, sorry, you're not getting any more. Guess what? I mean, look at these kids. You know, it's so tempting. Well, they found out that those who waited, their scores in high school were much higher. Their professional growth, much higher. Even their income, because they track these young people, was much higher. Patience, managing your behavior, hitting the pause button. So self-management has to do with behavioral self-control. Again, how many of you have, maybe somebody told you, hello, control yourself, calm down. Or maybe you have told, I need to control myself. I need to calm down in this situation. Behavioral self-control. Then we have integrity. And I recently learned a simple, well, before I share that with you, let me tell you, I have never met a human being who said to me, Lincoln, I don't have any integrity. I've met a lot of people who claim to have integrity, but they need to go back and look at what the true meaning of integrity. Well, I learned a simple definition of integrity. You kindly unmute yourselves, because we're gonna go back to elementary school for a little bit. Everybody, would you unmute yourselves? All right, repeat after me. Say, do, co.
Say,
Say, do,
Say,
co.
do,
Co.
oh,
One more time. Say,
Say, do,
do, co.
co.
Integrity
Say,
boils
do,
down
co.
to say what you're going to do what you said you were going to do, and communicate when you can't. Because, you know, everybody have good intentions, I hope, but sometimes things happen. You know, like I'm sure everybody wanted to join the meeting at 8:30, but internet was slow or disconnected, or you're in traffic, things happen. Say, do, co, integrity. And I hope you're writing that down. Say, do, co. Say what you're going to do what you said you're going to do, and communicate when you can't. Then you have innovation and creativity. And think about what's happening in our world today. How it's those people who innovate and create new
excuse
ways
me,
of, yes,
Lincoln, can you repeat that? Say, do, co, what it means?
say what you're going to do what you said you were going to do, and communicate when you can't. Don't just leave people hanging or guessing. Now, innovation and creativity. You know, Shakespeare said, sweet are the uses of adversity. And 2021 was a year full of adversity, and who knows what else. But look at what's happening tonight. You have people in Jamaica, in Guyana, in Antigua, you know, and we having a meeting, and we can see each other. Yes, ready. Ready?
Say what you're going to do. Is it always wise to say what you're going to do? There are some persons, for example, it has happened to me, where I have decided, because so many things have happened in the past, to prevent me from doing what I had said I'm going to do, and I have to be apologizing and explaining that, boy, you know, I'm not going to be able to do so. In certain situations, when I don't have to say what I'm going to do, I have found that it works a little better for me. What do you say about that? Do you always have to say what you're going to do?
Ready? Remember the last part.
Mm-hmm.
Communicate when you can't. Great leaders are transparent. They share, and they communicate when they can't. So again, it depends on the situation. And I'm hoping that you all are thinking about positive, constructive things that you're going to do. If you're going to go rob a bank, you're not going to tell people that. You know, if you're going to go smoke some marijuana, you're not going to tell people that. But positive, constructive situations.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Okay.
Then you have initiative and bias for action. These are the people who see something that needs to be done, they do it. It does not even have to be their job. I'm sure most of us in the room, if not all of us, have been in that situation. You see something, like when I used to do this class live, what I like to do, I always get there early. I will take a piece of paper, tear it up into about 10, 20 pieces and scatter it on the floor, right in front of the door. And I'm looking at the people as they walk into the classroom. And I'm looking to see and listening, listen to wait a minute, Jonathan didn't come to work today? How come the place is such a mess? And then there's one or two people who will bend down, pick up the paper and put it in the garbage can. Initiative, bias for action. There are too many people just talking and no action. People who are strong in taking initiative and bias for action, self-management. Then you have achievement drive. These people don't settle for okay. They go for the excellence. Then you have realistic optimism. In my much younger years, I was known to be an optimistic. Well, I've learned to be realistic about it. Like, you know, I used to play cricket, pretty good at it. Now I picked up golf because I like to be outdoors. I know I'm not strong enough. I will never hit the ball 300 yards like Tiger Woods. So I got to be realistic now. I can hit it 200, and if I get a little roll, I might get 220. I got to be realistic. So you've got to be, you know, optimistic, but realistic about it. Then you have resilience. These people, they do not give up. And stress management. You know, the world is full of stress, but there are techniques that you can learn to manage your stress. And in the report, you will get those techniques. Personal agility has to do with how we deal with change. And give me a thumbs up if you think we're living in a world of change, constant change. Give me a thumbs up if you believe, yeah, change is happening all the time. And then intentionality. You know, we get what we intend to get. If you get up in the morning and you say, today is going to be a great day, it is going to be a great day. You're not going to be disappointed. If you get up in the morning and you say, it's going to be a crappy day, it's going to be a crappy day. You're not going to be disappointed. So those are the 10 components. Now, when you see the report, if you decide to go that, you would see that for every component, the report will tell you what are the habits that make up this component, good habits. Then it will tell you about the people who are not strong in this, how do they behave? And for every component, you get in development tips. So you can coach yourself and you can help other people too. Any questions? Okay, so that was quadrant 2. Now we go to quadrant 3, other social awareness and empathy. Do I have to tell you what empathy is? Everybody know what empathy is, right? Well, empathy is not just feeling sorry for people. Empathy is not just feeling sorry, but taking the next step to do something, even if it's just listening, but to identify, to walk in people's shoes, empathy. Situational or organizational awareness. This is, you know, sometimes you all are trainers, most of you, you walk into a room and you can feel the vibe of the room, or if there's tension in the room or no tension, or the people are ready or they just don't want to be there. Being aware of the organization and the situation. Then service orientation, having a heart for service. Having a heart for service. And those of us who are JCs in the room, we've learned that service to humanity is the best work of life. service to humanity. And you know what I've learned also? When I serve, it gives me such a good feeling. I get more out of serving other people than what I provide to them. So service orientation. So those are the 3 components in others and social awareness. Any questions? Okay, now, first we had self-awareness, then we had self-management, and now we have others and social awareness. Well, those 3 combine to make up relationship management. And look at the first component in relationship management: communication. Communication. And you know, what's the most used communication skill? Anybody? What's the most? Listening. Thank you. And I do a 10, 15-second effective listening workshop. And it goes like this. Look at how the Lord designed us. 2 ears, 1 mouth, which is a subtle indication that we should listen twice as much as we speak. And if in all relationships, if we could learn to listen more, what is he really saying? Does he really mean it that way? We will have less stress, more peace in our relationship. You ready?
Sorry to chat too much.
No. Well, you're making up for those that are very quiet.
But you asked the question, what is the most used communication tool?
Skill.
Skill.
And I think Burchell said listening.
Is it real?
It was actually Garfield.
I think Garfield.
Garfield, sorry.
I am very much opposed. I believe that listening is the least used.
Well, let me tell you, my friend. Do you listen to the radio? Do you listen to the radio in your car? When you're watching TV, do you listen to what they're saying? When you go to church, do you listen to the sermon?
Good question.
When you talk to people, do you listen to what they're saying? So
I think that was his mid-wicket. I could swear that is his mid-wicket. He was totally bold.
Let me not get no. You see, my concern about listening is that it is so much of a decision that you have to make and an active process that it doesn't really have people here, but not necessarily listening. But you can't go ahead. Sorry about that.
No need to be sorry. Ready. Listening is the most used skill, communication skill, but it's the least taught.
All right.
It's the most used, but think about a kid who goes to school. He's sitting in the classroom and now he has to listen and nobody teaches him how to listen. And they wonder why you're not getting it. And the higher the grades they go, he has to listen even more.
Roddy, when you do mediation, what do you do?
No. That is, I'm talking General Garfield. Of course, you have to listen.
But generally listening, you listen to everything, all the things that he named a while ago. You listen to and you don't respond to them. All the things that he named a while ago, the television, the radio, or the sermon, you listen to it and you don't respond to them. So you do listen. You just
I'm not
not aware of
I'm not
it.
so sure.
It's just that you're not aware enough.
I am there and I hear.
All right.
Okay.
How did you know that they raided the capital? A while ago you said they raided the capital. How do you know that they raided the capital? Because you listened. Come again.
I saw.
It's such a subconscious skill.
Okay.
It is such a subconscious skill that we tend to take it for granted, unless we're physically deaf.
All right.
Unless we're physically deaf, because we've been listening since we come out, even before we come out of our mother's wombs. They say the moms can tell you that the babies respond to the sounds. And some gynecologists will tell you, speak softly, speak tenderly, play soft music, especially in the 3rd trimester. So listening, it's such a subconscious skill, we tend to take it for granted. Then interpersonal effectiveness, how you get along with
Thank you.
people, how you get along with people, how you reach out, or you wait for people to reach out to you, interpersonal effectiveness. Then you have powerful influencing skills, not demanding, not telling, but influencing skill. When somebody is influenced, they have a higher tendency to do something about it versus when they're told. Then you have conflict management. You know, conflict is happening all the time. And this is another area where we don't teach conflict management in our education system. You know, in Japan, they teach the kids conflict management. And most conflict, they will tell the kids, start with one person is saying, I am right. And the other one, no, I am right and you're wrong. Well, they teach the kids to say, okay, I'm right. Let's come to a corner here and say, we are both right and we are both wrong, because we're not dumb. So we got to have some positive thoughts, each one of us. Let's find out where we are both right, where we are both wrong, and then they get in the middle. It doesn't matter who is right or wrong. What's the best solution? Let's put our heads together and come up with the best solution. Because if we stick in our place of I'm right and you're wrong, conflict will never be resolved. A simple conflict management tool. Then you have inspirational leadership. And you know these people, you've worked with them. Leaders who inspire their people, they get so much more done from their people. And they do it with joy and passion. Catalyzing change. This is where people own the change, manage the change, and sometimes even change the change. You know, a catalyst is to speed up or slow down. Then you have building bonds. I'm sure all of us here have friends who we've known. I mean, look, Birchell and I have known each other. Oh my God, how long, Birchell? And we remain friends since the 80s.
Years.
Yeah. You know, my best friend, Rodney, I met him when we were like 11 years old, and we still keep in touch. It's a bond. You know, husband and wife has a bond. Mother and child has a bond. But it takes maintenance and intention to build that bond. And teamwork and collaboration. You know, we all know that when we work as a team, we get more done. Coaching and mentoring others. And most of us in the room, we do training and coaching, mentoring others. But be aware that sometimes our most effective coaching is not by telling people what to do, but by demonstrating and being a good example of what they should do. And you know, they say we learn by observation. Is one of the most effective learning tools, observation. So mentoring others, building trust. We talked about this earlier, that trust, without trust, you don't have a relationship. Hello? Without trust, you don't have a relationship. So those are the 26 components and the 4 segments. Do you have any questions? Input?
Well,
How are we doing? How about if anybody wrote down any great ideas so far? Anybody wrote down any great ideas on that, or you didn't even think about it?
one great idea is what you mentioned about them in Asia teaching the children conflict management.
Yeah.
The earlier you start shaping the mind is the
Right.
easier it is for them to adopt the principles. And I think that's something, especially with the disruption of normal school,
Mm-hmm.
is something that needs to be looked at. And so that's probably that's probably a program that any one of us in this room could look at introducing, local or nationally, both for adults and children.
Yes. Anyway, thank you. Anybody else have a great idea that they would like to share with us?
If I may just follow up on what Burchell said. There was a time we had a program in Jamaica called PALS, Peace and Love in School. And I suspect that was the idea. But I don't know what has become of it.
Okay, I think Shakira.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
As Mr. James was talking, when the session was going on, I started to think about how this applies in the different areas and the different things I do, and I was like, there has to be a way to bring things across in whatever setting that we work. And based on some of the things that you mentioned at the initial part where you spoke about how the world is going now and how we need these skills more than ever. What I was picturing was making these skills just incorporating in basically anything, any activity I do. Yeah.
Yeah, and it all starts with us, ourselves first. Anybody else have any great idea they want to share? Another different great idea?
It's not really a great idea, but coming off what Burchell says, the difference is in my sector, the island, we do conflict management teaching to grade 7. And we have peer counselors that we teach that so that they can expound on it to the students starting in grade 7s. That's the first year in high school.
All right.
So we actually do that there. But based on what you're saying, teaching them in primary school would be much more appropriate.
Yeah, but think about where you learn all your life skills. I remember we said earlier, your morals and your values and your personality is established from age 0 to 7. Yeah. All right, let's move on. So social and emotional is embraced by many organizations, all Fortune 500 companies, and they all show how and I'll show you some data in a minute on how much their revenue, how it impacts their revenue. Everybody knows Sheraton Hotel, right? 900 hotels in 90 countries, over 150,000 employees. They introduced social emotional intelligence training and coaching. And their goal was to build a service-oriented culture. Guess what? They increased their market share by 24%. 24%. Then you have a link between social and emotional intelligence and the bottom line.
Imagine.
PepsiCo, another international company, second only to Coke, I guess it depends on what your taste is like. They introduced social emotional intelligence and they saw a 10% increase in productivity, 80% decrease in turnover. If people are happy where they're working, they're not going to leave. Saving $4 million and over 1,000% return on investment. Is that worth it or not? Then you have top reasons for executive derailment. Poor interpersonal relationships. They don't know how to get along with people. Too harshly critical. Have you ever heard some people, all you can hear from them is what you're not doing right? You never get a recognition for what you're doing. And then insensitive or demanding, alienating co-workers and direct reports, rigid, no open mind, one way, my way or the highway, and inability to work with a team. And this comes from the Center of Creative Leadership. Now, it's all not just for company, but for you personally health and wellness case. People with positive emotions get fewer colds and illnesses. This is proven. People have fewer symptoms and suffer less pain when they do fall ill, have lower risk of chronic disease, heart disease, stroke, diabetes, immune disorders, live longer with positive emotions. And just to give you a personal testimony, on December the 13th, I tested positive for the COVID virus. But I had no symptoms. I was not sick. I didn't let it get me down. I went through the quarantine process, but I never let it get me down. And you know, I'm thankful for the internet and my computer and never stop doing what I do. So it's positive emotions. And then some other studies, people with positive emotions earn more over the course of their lifetimes, and a lot more, 33% more. People with positive emotions have more satisfying relationships. Can you see this? Based on when we talk about relationship management, how you can have more satisfying relationships and enjoy more satisfying social networks, a key factor in longevity. I tell you, I have met couples who were considering divorce, and we did their social and emotional intelligence profile. I did each one of them individually separated, and then I brought them together and showed them where they are similar and where they are different. And you should see their eyes popping. And now they learn to understand one another, to tolerate and to communicate more effectively and rebuild their relationship. Other personal benefits: improved performance and achievement, more creativity and innovative problem solving, better decision making, more flexible thought process, and this is all proven, and improved memory. So social and emotional intelligence are these competencies that we shared earlier, the 26, are measurable and learnable. That's the key. We all trainers in the room, they're learnable. Best learned through coaching and training. So, you know, as Roddy was talking earlier, how can they, without awareness, it takes coaching and training. And then ideal when integrated into the organizational culture. And the organizational culture is not limited to a business. It can be a family. It can be the JCs or the Lions when it's integrated into the churches, organizational culture. Then it's a core skill set, as I showed you earlier, but it's grounded in science. It's not just warm, feely. It's grounded in science and proven ROI, as we shared earlier. But it starts with an awareness, which is the assessment. So it's a collection of skills, being aware of what's going on within us in the moment, being aware of what might be going on with others and responding with care and consideration, managing ourselves in the moment, managing our relationship with others, and that's the collection of skills. So personal development plan. Growth is a continuous process. Any living organism that stops growing begins to die. And learning is a process, it's not an event. So Kaizen is a Japanese word for continuous improvement. Kaizen is a Japanese, and that's Toyota's mantra. And do you know what's the #1 best-selling car in the world today? Any guess? Toyota Corolla.
Toyota.
Yeah. Because they never stop. Now, Albert Einstein is one of the men with the highest IQ in the world. And this is what he has to say. Would somebody read that for me?
We should take care not to make the intellect our God. It has, of course, powerful muscles, but no personality. It cannot lead, it can only serve.
And this is Albert Einstein, the man with one of the highest IQ. telling us that do not neglect our emotional intelligence. So, do you have any questions, thoughts, feedback? How was this for you tonight?
Refreshing.
Thank you, Shakira. Anybody else?
Very
Sharika.
interesting.
Sharika. Yeah, sorry.
Quite informative, you know.
Good.
Quite
That was the
informative.
intention. Okay, complete the statement for
And
me.
I said very interesting.
Thank you. Practice makes.
Permanent.
Give me 1 minute. I'll be right with you. Okay,
Perfect.
you guys can share and give me a second. I'll be right with you.
I never heard the permanent one.
Huh?
I never heard the permanent one. I heard the perfect.
The
But
perfect. Okay.
He'll address it in a little while.
Huh?
No, I said,
How you doing, Roddy? I see you get back your internet.
Boy, I tell you, see, man, this thing give me trouble, you see. God of grace, boy, I tell you.
God of grace.
And even though I'm on it, you know, there are times when I'm not hearing clearly, you know.
I know it happened to all. Even with phone calls, you have that issue now.
And it comes up every now and again to say your internet is unsteady. And every time I see it, I just cringe. You know what I mean? That's it.
I guess
How we
everybody's
don't
at
go
home.
now.
Everybody's at home using the internet.
Yeah, it just come up again. It is just there again. Wow. Yeah. I actually thought I would not make it on.
So, practice makes. Anybody? Except
I
Bertrand.
say perfect.
Perfect. And you
Except
know,
Bertrand?
that's what we were taught since we were kids. Practice makes perfect.
Yeah.
But if I'm practicing the wrong way of doing something, I will become perfectly good at doing it wrong.
True.
Practice makes permanent.
Okay.
That's why we need a
I
coach.
see.
That's why we need a mediator. I mean, look at all the great athletes. They have a coach to point out the mistakes they're making and then to take corrective action. Isn't that what we mediators do? We coaches do to help people to identify the areas that they need to turn around or to tweak and then practice the right way. Practice makes permanent. We become what we practice. You know, and I'm sure you've all heard that we are all creatures of habit. People form habits, then habits form people. What are your habits? What habits you need to change? What habits you need to grow? Or what new habit you need to develop? For a lot of people in the world today, technology has become a new habit that they need to develop and to learn. So remember, practice makes permanent. And we can help people to practice the right way. After a time, it becomes permanent. And it's like subconscious. So every decision we make, every judgment starts with a belief. For example, we all drive, right? You're driving down the road, you're about 50 to 75 yards away from the traffic light and it's green. If you believe that it's going to stay green, what do? You speed up.
Speed up, yes.
If you believe it's going to change to orange, amber, or red, you slow down. I know some of you, if you think it's going to change, you speed up even faster, but it starts with belief. Everything, our belief influences our judgment, our decisions, which will impact the actions we take or not take. And then the actions we take or not take would impact the results we achieve or not achieve, which would validate what we believe in the first place. So if you're sitting down here and you're thinking, or this is just mumbo jumbo. This is not going to work for me. You're going to make a decision that you're not going to do anything about this. Then you're going to you'll get the same results you're getting right now. Remember, if you always do what you've always done, you always get what you always got, which will validate what you believe in the first place. I can't change your belief. But if you're sitting here and you're thinking, wow, this is amazing. This will work. And this will be a great tool for me to learn and to apply in my practice. You're going to make a decision to take action, to have it done, and then you will start achieving results that will be even more amazing to you, which will validate what you believe in the first place. Can you see that?
Yes.
We do this subconsciously every day. Now that we are aware, think about how much more impactful this is going to be. Now that we are aware. See, that's the key right there, being aware. Now we can be more intentional about life and live a fuller life. Before I say thank you and end this meeting, anybody got any thoughts they like to share?
Hi.
Just sorry.
Yes, Veronica.
You know, I was thinking, imagine what a powerful nation we would have if everyone got an understanding of this.
That is my
You know, from the child, come all the way up. I mean, from you have impacted the child. I mean,
that is it.
the sky would be
Yes.
the limit. There's nothing that we couldn't accomplish as a country, as a nation.
All right.
Yes.
I
Hello?
concur.
But you know what, people? How do you change a nation?
By changing me first.
Thank you. One person at a time. And all of us, we have that opportunity. The people who we train, the people who we coach, the people who we mentor, one person at a time. And I'm here to support you. I'm here to help you.
Okay.
As you wish. Any other thoughts,
Yeah.
closing comments?
Well, if I may,
Yes, you may.
I just want to tell you, well, I am very thankful for the opportunity afforded me, and may I say, thankful to the internet for allowing me to at least catch, most of it, because I really wanted to have joined you very, very early because I want to catch every word.
Well, Reddy, we
And I'm
did
still wondering what I have
record
missed.
it. We did
But,
record this session and we'll send you a link. Yeah.
Okay, good, thanks.
Mhm.
What you have said, a lot of it sounds like familiar territory, but then, within the framework of the topic, I'm looking forward to see it unfolding. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you also.
Thank you. Welcome, Claudette.
Hi, Claudette.
Okay. Hi, Barry. How are you?
I am good. Thanks.
Good, good. All righty.
Arita, we haven't heard from you all night. Talk to us. Unmute yourself.
Good night. Yes, I got home a little bit just when I connected. One of the
Okay.
main things that stood out to me really when you're explaining being intelligent, what it means to be emotionally intelligent. It's different from being intelligent by IQ. Knowing how to solve problems, knowing how to rectify situations. Not everybody has that emotional strength to separate things. When they're having a challenge, is emotional intelligence allow you to navigate the challenges of life
Yeah.
and not how bright you are. That's one thing that came out, as well as when you were showing in the last diagram about beliefs that impact decisions, that go right back to impacting results. actions and results,
Yes.
which is very true. Realize in interacting with various persons, once they believe a certain thing, you can't help them to act otherwise. You can't
Exactly.
really change
Yeah.
a person
Yep.
mentality. So those are the things I got. so
Thank
far.
you. Thank you. Anybody else would like to share before we close tonight? Ruddy, you want to say something, or Sandra?
Oh, I'm good.
Okay, Sandra?
For me, yes, this is Sandra. So the information shared on the results, that was very impactful for me. The results of Mexico, the impact on online, individual impact on our health, our level of professionalism, that was really that was fun for me.
Okay, thank you all for sharing, and thank you for taking the time to join me tonight. In closing, is one other thing I'd like to share with you, and we do this subconsciously all the time, but this program is about awareness. When we are all faced with a situation or a circumstance or another person, we have three responses that we make, all subconsciously. The first is we will fight. We fight for or we fight against. The second is we would flight. We will walk away or run away. And the third is freeze. We just freeze. I don't have to do anything about this. Well, when we become more aware, we know when we need to fight, when we need to flight or walk away, and when we need to freeze. Now we are learning to hit the pause button and choosing the best response. Fight, flight, or freeze. So I hope tonight the time was valuable for you, that you feel inspired enough to take action. And if you would like to have your profile done at the start, but you'll have my contact information and we can make this happen for you. So with that, I want to say good night, sweet dreams, and just be a little more aware.
Thanks very much, Lincoln. I know you have to go and do a lot of work in in the country in which you now reside.
Oh boy.
I hear you at chaos today.
Yes.
Yeah, but I'd like to thank you for your readiness and the flexibility of demonstrated in accommodating us tonight. We did not get all the persons who I know wanted to hear, and so we're going to call on you again. But I'd like to end by going back to what you said. We either choose to fight, flight, or freeze.
Yes, sir.
If we are made aware, then it's up to us now to make a decision. And I just want to highlight the generous offer you have made, which is a 20% discount of your on your program. It's not 20%, it's 40%.
Yeah, it's more than 20%.
40% discount on your program.
Yes.
For those of us who are ready to take it on. I know it's because of the JC's connection why you have been so generous, and you have also extended it to our Mediators Association.
Yes, sir. Well, it's you, Bertel. You know, I can't tell you no. Yes, you know, in life we just, yeah. Certain people call on you, yeah.
Yes, ready. Go ahead.
He mentioned earlier that because we are from the Caribbean, where he gave us a discount. I was now hoping that JC's will get a further discount. But anyway.
we had that negotiation early. Lincoln is from the Twin Islands state of Trinidad and Tobago. So he's a Caribbean man.
Yeah.
He only resides in the United States.
Yeah, and my wife is Jamaican.
Right.
I
I
know,
was just going to say
I know
that
that.
those
I
who
know
know
that.
him know he's Jamaican at heart.
Yes.
I know that. I know that. I just thought I put in that
Oh,
punch.
yeah.
So there are two things that I want to throw on the table for consideration. One is that personally we do the profile. That's taking charge of ourselves. But secondly, there are components of the things that you have looked at that could be done as part of an ongoing program that could be implemented. It would bring about greater awareness, one. Two, it would also help persons to change a little bit at a time and get it into institutions, whether the workplace or within the academia. But I want you to look at that as another possibility. One of the great ideas written down on the blank paper.
And if any one of you is interested in getting certified to administer this program, let me know. I can introduce you to the executive director of the institute.
Could you get the details, cost, and time frame, and let us know?
I can tell you it's $1,700 US. It takes about 8 online sessions to get certified. Yeah, in a nutshell.
I thank you very much. We will certainly speak more on that.
Yes.
So on behalf of the group, let me thank you very much and look forward to the follow-up.
There you go. Follow up and follow through.
Right.
Yes, sir.
And we will certainly pass on the books that you are sending, the articles that you're sending.
Okay, I'll send that to you. If not tonight, first thing tomorrow.
That's fine. And I thank you very much. Have a great night, everyone.
Everybody have a good night. 5, 4,
Bye-bye.
3,
Bye,
2,
everybody.
1.
Good
Bye-bye.
night. Good night. Good
Good
night.
night.
God bless.